Evening, everybody. It's 5:30, and this is your closing comment. It's video number 1179 for today, the 7th of March. I'm not going to go through a lot of stocks here because they were all horrendous, and I will address that in a second. The only one that I'm going to mention here is Bed Bath and Beyond, which I mentioned this morning, and that's why I'm doing the follow up on it. Ryan Cohn, the CEO, who is now at GameStop, who was at Chewy, has taken a position in it. It's a substantial position, and it was reported this morning. He is acting as somewhat of an activist, and the reason I'm mentioning it is because I started this morning and the stock had actually traded as high as about 33, which was up over 100%. And during regular hours, the high was 30.06, and it closed well off that. It closed at 21.71, which was still up almost 30%, up $5.53. The auto sector was horrendous. Airlines, the same thing. A bunch of the financials, the credit card companies, certainly all the booking companies, all down hard, primarily due to Ukraine and the fallout in the commodities area. I'll get to that in a second. So we had a Dow that sold off into the close, closing down 797.42 or 2.37, and that wasn't the worst of it, although advanced declines there were 4-1 to the downside. NASDAQ was down even more. Advanced declines were a little better at only 2.5 to 1 to the downside, and NASDAQ closed down 482.48 or 3.62. But the big loser, down just short of 600, was the Dow Jones Transportation, down 3.9%. The S&P down 127.78, that's 2.95, and the Russell down 49.57, which was down 2.48. Volume moved up to 6.1 billion. It's been running about 4.2 to 4.3, so that's a pretty hefty gain, over 40% increase in that. In the futures area, the oil, which traded as high as 130.50 and 137 for Brent crude, closed towards the low at 119.40, but that was still up $3.72. Gold traded over 2007 and a half, and closed 1995.90, up 29.30. The chart on the screen is palladium, and Russia is without question head and shoulders above all others as the source of palladium. It closed under 3,000 on Friday and traded over 3,400 today. So that was roughly about a 13% up high, and it reversed back down and closed down $80, which was 2.68%. So the move there was pretty extreme, from low to high, 15%, and closing down on the day. What was interesting about this is, while the gold was up, all the other metals were down. Silver was down, copper was down, platinum was down. As I said, palladium was down. At the same time, a manufacturing metal, nickel, had its biggest gain in history, up 74% on the day. It's a cheap commodity, and so the move was exacerbated. But the fact of the matter is, 74% yesterday to today. Okay, as far as sectors go, all my sectors were down with one exception, and that naturally was energy. CVX was up about $3, adding to its current run. Oxy, which I mentioned this morning, Icon selling his position, Buffett buying a position in it, was trading higher but fell back at by the end of the day. Autos and airlines, absolutely horrendous. But just to give you a look here, we had all of the big NASDAQ names down. Google, 4.6%. Amazon, 6.2%. Apple, just under 3%. Facebook, down another 6.73%. Microsoft, down 4%. And I could go on, but it's not really all that important. You get the general idea. The only mega cap that was up was Caterpillar. As far as those sectors, airlines, JETS, JETS, which is the airline ETF, down 11%. Even the very defensive food supply chain mixed with the ETF down 1.25%. Biopharma down, infrastructure down, work from home down, retail down. Certainly easy to see that the financials were down 4.33%. Pot stocks were down. As I said, it was Oxy at over $60 this morning, closed down on the day at 55, down $1.15. So pretty ugly there. And last but not least, we had the meme stocks lower. We had my total return portfolio down a bit, and we had defense, which we would have expected to see up. We had Teledyne down and Axion down, and even though we had a $10 move in Lockheed Martin on the use of the jets being sent to Poland, the ITA, which is the ETF for defense, also down 2.13%. So a pretty ugly day across the board. All right, everyone. Tomorrow could be set up for a really strong turnaround Tuesday. I hope that we open down and that we get a little bit of follow through here instead of having some sort of news that takes us that buoys the market up, so that we don't get that kind of flush that this market clearly needs. And although I think we'll have a tradable rally this week, I don't think it's an investable rally, and that really concerns me. Have a good evening. I'll be back in the morning.